So this is my family. I was on a cruise ship last week. I don't know if anybody cruises, but the experience is, you get a lot of drink, a lot of food, and there's a photographer that runs around the boat, right? Takes a picture of you, and you have to give your pass to them, and they register it. So I thought, well, I'll wait until the last day, get all the photos together, and then we'll figure it out, right? So I go down there, and I put my Seek pass in there, and it's like, there's no pictures. Where are my pictures? And the guy's like, I don't know. We found them. It took me 2 hours to do this, right? And I was like, oh. So just think about AI as how to solve solutions like this. So why didn't they just take a picture of me, scan all the people on the boat, and then just show me all the pictures of all, who look like me? Maybe there's somebody who's better looking than me. I don't know. I can pick that person. But that's a solution there. So I got my pictures. I wrote off to the CIO of Royal Caribbean. He hasn't written me back yet, so we'll see.
Is this a workshop on artificial insemination?
That's later. What? That's later on, Jason.
You said AI out there, right? Yes.
Get out.
Then I saw pictures of babies.
All right. Artificial insemination.
You got in trouble.
All right. So, who am I? So, 7 years ago, I was sat where you guys are today. I was talking about the cloud and whether the cloud would be a big revolution to the industry. There was a lot of people doing hardware there, laughing, throwing tomatoes or however you say it, at me. Like, the cloud will never happen. And look, it was 7 years later, and Dell and EMC, have they merged? Have they saved themselves? I don't know. There's a lot of disruption. So I'm here today to talk about AI. And I think that in 7 years' time, I hope that you guys are maybe standing on other conferences and talking to them about, I don't know, your AI and how you transform your business. So that business, by the way, sold to Equinix, which is a big data center company. I sold it 2 years ago, and I was on the beach for 2 years. So there you go. A lot of fun. So why should you care about AI? Well, here's some research for you. This year, 12.5 billion will be spent in AI, forecasted. And it's mainly the Fortune 2000. It's the guys that have a lot of data scientists, and that is really the illusion of AI, and it's not true. The same research said that, well, about 15% of those enterprises are actually proactively looking at AI solutions, but 85% don't know where to start. So they're the big guys. So you think about the SMB, corporate, mid-market, I think you even got that probably 99% don't know where to start. So there's a lot of opportunity here, I think. Wikipedia, that's their explanation of it. And what does AI really mean? Really, it's having the machines to understand voice, interpret things, get meaning from data, how humans would act, right? A very simplistic, top-level view. I'm sure that other people have other ideas. Now, in 2011, there was a big breakthrough. If you ever watched Jeopardy, there was 2 Jeopardy champions. I think they won it like 5 times each, and they were up against Watson, IBM Watson. IBM Watson was disconnected from the internet, and Watson at that time, by the way, was very if-then kind of logic, and it beat them, right? So it was a big breakthrough. And if you read the news recently, I think it was a Google Go competition where the Go master got beat by AI. I think it was Google AI. So the machines are slowly learning more things and adapting and all that. And it's really a conversion, I think, of multiple things happening and why AI is relevant now. The cloud, obviously, is driving that. GPUs, having those GPUs accessible at a cheap price allows the machines to do the computations faster, basically. So who are the AI major players? Now, this is my interpretation. Don't take it to heart. IBM Watson, I think IBM, again, has missed the boat. It's my opinion. They were late at the cloud. They acquired SoftLayer. I think that was, I think the software layer is not stable, but Watson itself that sits on top, some of it's marketing, but some of it's actually pretty good, right? It's, I wish IBM would sell Watson to the other cloud providers, but it won't happen. But Google, why has Google got an advantage? Well, Google has, every time you search, that's data, question, answer, right? And they've also got the dark fiber, a lot of network, right? So I think Google have an advantage, but they're still behind the two major players. Amazon, obviously. Amazon, I think it was 2 years ago, they launched their AI capabilities and Alexa, obviously. So they took Alexa and split it into two services, Lex and Poly, which you can actually use within their platform. So Amazon are always around, like, let's create small services, let's deploy them, let's see if they work, and then let's rebuild on them. Now, I don't think they're the leaders. I think Microsoft are. And this deck is very slanted to Microsoft, and it's not because I work at Microsoft or anything like that. It's just, I just thought it'd be relevant for you guys to see Microsoft examples. But Microsoft, we're investing heavily in this space. They've created a really neat studio that you can create AI solutions, Cortana. It's been around for 2 years. It's very, I think, pretty stable. They have solutions on IoT, etc. Now, there's three major components for AI that you should think about, right? And when you're flying back to wherever, I hope that when you go through the gates of your rental car company and you have to give your driving license to them, think about an AI solution. Maybe they take your picture and you can go through the gate, right? But NLP, natural language processing. So that's interpreting different like paragraphs, taking out keywords, sentiment analysis. So if you do a tweet, if it's a good one or a bad one, it will kind of judge that. So the idea is at scale, taking text and interpreting different actions from it. The other one is machine learning. So an example of machine learning is, I'm in Florida now. I might do, well, somebody could do a $1,000 transaction on my card. I'm hoping that my bank will ring me up and say, hey, did you actually want to do this? That's an example of fraud detection using machine learning. And how does it know that? Well, it's got all that data of all my different transactions, and it's looking for that diamond. There's something in the rough. And only with machine learning can it really go through all those records. Now, a human could do it. It'll take a long time, right? So think of machine learning that way. And last one we talked about earlier with the very crude reference by Jason, wherever he is. He's left, there he is. Image recognition. So it's not just facial recognition. You can actually do object recognition too. So think of it this way. So if you've got a customer that has a certain brand and they do social media and all that, maybe you can interpret all the pictures, maybe people do selfies with that brand and notice it in the actual shot itself. So that's another example of image recognition.
I was just going to tell you, we're just about to deploy a video surveillance camera with complete AI that actually understands what's going on and is looking for objects being left behind or objects being removed. So if you have, let's say, an item that is on the wall on a hallway and somebody decides to steal it, it will automatically know and alert. Or if someone leaves a bag in the hallway, after so many minutes, it will actually alert the right people. So it's amazing what it can do.
Yeah. Well, that was from, I don't know what they're using, but Microsoft did a demonstration of that at, I think it was at Inspire, maybe, where they had like a camera that was in a room, and I think it was an engineering workshop, and they had all these different tools and things, and people were like moving them from different locations and putting them in the wrong location, and it was like red line and like sending an alert. So that exists, and again, like for a channel provider, you need a developer, but you need a way of like capturing the stream of data from the video and then hook it into Microsoft, right? And then you suddenly got a solution you can sell. So it's just, again, that's a great example that think about AI that way. At home, actually, I don't have this, but my house was nearly broken into, and I've got cameras all around. I live in Texas. I don't own a gun, so I was a bit worried. But I got all this footage of the of the driveway. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for an anomaly, right? The anomaly is some guy basically went down my drive at 3 o'clock in the morning. So how would I detect that? So I'd have to have all the data, and then why is this happening at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And then flag me. Another example, and you can sell that solution. So there's another one, right? Machine learning. So JP Morgan, they spend a lot of money on lawyer contracts. I'm sure everybody here does in the room. So they developed something called Coin that allowed automated contract review using NLP, natural language processing. And really those lawyers, they spent that money on 360,000 hours of lawyer time was saved by AI literally going through the contracts and redlining the contract and making sure that it adhered to their standards. And they saved all that time. So again, look at it for NLP, it's more, is there like a high frequency, low creativity task that maybe you can offload? And again, to your customer, you could do that. Image recognition, so what is that? So here's a picture of a bird. So how does the machine know it's a bird? Like you can do the course and all that on this, you'll be here for a long time, but the reason why it knows that it's a bird is, think about how, I've got 2 kids, think about how you teach children how to think, know about things. So you never say to the kid, well, there's a dog and the dog has a snout and a tail. That's a dog. Like you show a child pictures, right? And then it will recognize, well, that's a bird, that's a dog. And that's really how image recognition works. It takes that picture, it slices it up, and then it will recognize if it's one of these categories, right? And here's an example, Google. So if you go to Google Images and upload a picture of a bird, you'll get a picture. And it's using image recognition against all the data of Google and finding the robins in there. Use cases. So I've got 2 because I only got half an hour. I did have 3, but see me later after class. So use cases, remote monitoring and customer service. So a use case for, if anybody's got any wind farm customers in the room, here's a use case for you, you can go to them. So these wind farms, sometimes there's hundreds of these and they're very expensive to maintain. Literally, to maintain one of these, when one of the turbines fail, you have to hire out a big crane like that. It's about $100,000 to get the crane, lift it up, and lift out the turbine, right? Now, how can remote monitoring help? Okay, well, it can predict when that turbine is going to fail. Great. Well, really, there's no ROI there. What about it predicts when a multiple are going to fail? So you can only get the 100,000 hit once, and it goes over multiple wind farm turbines. And this is a real-world use case that's been implemented. So if you've got any customers there, I'm going to do a quick demo, because everybody likes demos, right? Of IoT Suite. So has anybody used the Microsoft Azure IoT Suite and wants to do the demo instead of me? Nobody? What is it? Okay, so the Microsoft IoT Suite, if you go to, I think it's Azure IoT Suite, it was released, I think, 2 years ago. What it is, it's a collection of all the different assets in Azure that will be used to do IoT. Now, if you went in there yourself, you'd be like, okay, I need a bit of data, I need data storage, I need compute, I need this. What Microsoft did is put all that into one package and then created a solution around it and then used Power BI as a dashboard. And they've created 3 templates. And again, if you wanted to quickly go to a customer and give them a demo of this, remote monitoring, connected factory, predictive maintenance, 3 really good demos there. Remote monitoring, so that our example was the wind farm. So you could go to that customer and go, okay, remote monitoring, let's click on that. Here we see, there you go, select. Wind. And then select my subscription. By the way, if you're going to do a demo, like I think I said on stage, make sure you delete these things because these are very expensive. Because you've got all this stuff. I don't know if you can see all that, but you've got Active Directory, you've got IoT Hub, you've got all these. It's pretty expensive, so just do it once. Anyway, so you click on create, And here's one I created earlier, because it does take about 10 minutes to actually spin it up. And there you go. You could do that in front of a customer, right? And it's just a template. All this is doing, it's showing actually telemetry around cooling. These are all the different devices here in a map. This is using Bing. This is Power BI, so you actually take these, if you use Power BI, you can use these as widgets and create your own dashboard. It's just a template here. There's some KPIs, active jobs. You can look at the devices of all the different IoT components out there with the running. You can create rules around these. I could do another talk on this if you want to, but actions, etc. So very quickly create this. You know, the customer's got some WinFi, whatever they've got, put it in here. And where does AI come in? Well, AI will come in where when it gets the ingestion of that data, you'll use an AI model to predict different things, and then you'll create, you know, a dashboard and an insight into that. Customer service, everybody's favorite.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have no insights available at the moment.
I don't understand. I have a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservation.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do.
Anybody ever been in that situation?
Yeah.
Right. So the best thing about robots is they've got no emotion, right? So customer service, I see a massive disruption with customer service using AI. From people, you know, when you're ringing up a call center to answering online queries, etc. So here's just a quick use case. We all stayed at this lovely hotel, but there might be other options. I mean, this is a pretty expensive hotel, right? So $100 down the road, maybe I'll stay there, right? Save a bit of money. But I've got a preference, I'm a bit picky, I'm a picky eater. I want to make sure that the breakfast has eggs that are poached, right? How do I know from that? All I've got here is a symbol that shows free breakfast and a pool, and it's very similar. I want to ask that question, but I'm not going to ring them up because, I don't know, I'm an X generation, but nobody seems to phone anymore, right? So how would I get around that? So here's like a customer journey, like how you would look at this for a customer. And any customers that have e-commerce websites, regardless if it's hotels, whatever, kind of go for this very basic workflow. You search for something, you do a quote, and you do a book. Now, a lot of times when you get in the quote stage, you kind of abandon the cart. I'm not interested anymore because, you know, it doesn't have the eggs, or I don't want to ring them up, whatever. So how do you prevent that? There's an inception point. You want the customer service to be there. And that's why you have a bot. And I don't know if anybody's seen any bots on any websites yet where you click on, there's like a little symbol. If you actually go to our website, you'll see my face, and it'll actually come on my phone if you want to talk to me whilst I'm doing the presentation. But it'll come up with a chat. So then you've got a bot there. You can ask questions like, has he got any eggs? You know, and then maybe you'll make that determination of going with that hotel because of that. So very simple. And if you've got any customers like that have an e-commerce website, we actually, it's funny, we went out on a customer meeting with one of the guys in the room, and we actually showed something similar. And you know, the light bulbs went off because they were selling tents, right? And like, there was nothing like this on the website. They had to phone for a quote. And I said, well, why don't you have a bot on there? Somebody goes to the website and it gives them a simple quote. I've got 5 people doing that. Well, no, you could have 4 maybe, I don't know. Some more research here, Just Eat website, save that kind of money with a higher conversion rate just because of a bot that was added to the website. So I'm going to do a demo, another one. Everybody likes demos, right? Does anybody know what the Q&A bot is? Good. All right. So first day on your job, right? You got questions. You want to ask some questions. Nobody's around. They just give you like, sit on that table, and here's your laptop, and there's the employee handbook. Go for it. There's always questions. Q&A. So what Microsoft created is very simple, and is a first step of creating your first bot. We can create a service that will look at frequently asked questions. You can point this at our website. I noticed CRN doesn't have an FAQ. I wanted to do that, but it doesn't. So I just did one on Azure, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bot, and we can do it together. Azure support overview. So this is the FAQ page. So all I do is I copy that, the FAQ. I go to this, and I go, OK, we'll call it smartass, right? And then, and then that's the FAQ URL. So it's simple as that. You put the FAQ, and the AI behind the scenes will match the questions and answers and create a bot for you. You can add other things, like you might have an Excel spreadsheet with other questions and answers, other things like that. And then you click create. This doesn't take as long as the other one. Okay, so it's gone through that knowledge base, and it's created 48 Q&A pairs with the questions and answers. So now we're going to do a test. So this is the bot. Hey, I'm smartass. There you go. I'm the smartass, right? Okay, so let's ask it some questions. So where is Azure support available? All right, we'll give it this one, right? Let's give it a simple one. Where is it available? Support is available in these markets, right? And it's taken that question and it's matched it. Okay, you could say, well, you kind of gave it that one. So what is your beta program? Beta? And it matched it. Microsoft now provides, and if you look at this, what is the preview beta service feature? It's exactly the same one. So it's actually taken the same, it's using NLP, and it's kind of, okay, well, you mean this, you could also mean all these other cinnamons and all these other things, and it's done for you inside the bot. Now, at this point, you could take this Q&A bot and deploy it to your website, right? So imagine you've got a customer coming to your website, what's your MSP services? And then they go to your competitor 5 minutes later, and they have something like this. You can have all your MSP services, any questions on your website, FAQ, and maybe you'll land that deal. That's a simple example. Or onboarding of employee. You know, don't ask me questions, ask the bot. And you need anything else, then ask me. So it's pretty cool. And then some other AI resources as well. So some introduction to AI. And there's actually a Coursera founder and the master of AI that you can do a free course. I would recommend just getting a bit of immersed with this and learning about what it means. Salesforce, I think we were in a session and somebody asked about Salesforce. So Salesforce, they're creating something called Einstein that will have a lot of these insights built in to the platform. And Microsoft Dynamics are also doing the same. So Microsoft are very keen for you to use the Dynamics platform for this reason. And that's got AI built into the Dynamics framework. And then that's the tutorial and an Azure Studio. So what do we do? So we're a professional services AI company. That's what we do. And we're actually building a product, Ellie. My daughter's name's Ellie. So, and there's another reason behind it, but you have to get me drunk and I'll tell you. So the idea of it is to have a solution that will run your business and call this Ingram for the AI marketplace. So the idea is to have an AI platform that will be built upon those tech giants and allow you to plug in your system data, your metrics, and create your model. So we're looking for 7 users. This is not a pitch, by the way. This is just, if you're interested, happy. And that's it from me.